All right, let's get into it. It's Friday.
It is.
Huh? I left out the whelp.
Well, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Warfighter Tobacco Podcast. I'm John, that's Scott, and we're going to talk about
This
stuff.
guy.
That guy. Typically, we go into a little bit of cigar stuff, a little bit of kind of what's going on in the world, a little bit of, I don't know, military, if you want to call it that. But it's not all of it's factual. Most of it's opinion.
Yeah. I'd say it's a pretty even split.
Yeah, about
sometimes.
50-50.
Yeah, about 50-50.
Yeah. You know, like 70% of the time, we're right. Like
100% of the time. Yeah.
But we do have a guest today.
Andrew, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yep, I am Andrew. I'm the co-owner of Rustic Cigar Haus in Spring Branch, Texas, just north of San Antonio. Me and my brother started it in the end of 2022. So me and Brent are the co-owners. We had a little rough going with our first location, but we were able to move to a better location, quadrupled the size, and it's going a lot better now and picking up traction. So it's going pretty good.
So we kind of frequent your shop too. So
Yep.
Jim, I know Big Jim are
Yeah. He lives there.
He goes there all
They
the time.
literally got a dog bed for Jim and
Yeah.
well,
Yes.
Jim and Dave, but mainly Jim.
Nice.
But so before we dive into the cigar side of all of it, let's get a little bit of your background, so that way the listeners can kind of understand, where your motivation comes from, and drive and all that kind of fun stuff too.
Yeah.
So were you military? Were you not? Did you grow up around here?
We're originally from Houston. I did join the Army in '99, fresh out of high school. I did 6 years as a military police officer, and then got out. Did quite a few more years back overseas as a private security contractor.
Nice. Where were you stationed when you were
At Fort Hood, now Fort Cavazos,
right?
whatever
It's
they want
still
to call
Fort
it.
Hood.
Yeah. But I was pretty much there my whole time. We did a small deployment to Kuwait, a little test run, and we went to Iraq. My contract was up then, and their deals to stay in were not very enticing. So I kind of got out and then just did my own thing, doing the private security for a while.
Nice.
Made some good coin. And
I was gonna say, which one did you have more fun at?
I would say equally both. The camaraderie in the military was definitely way better. The civilian side, some people are kind of full of themselves, so it's kind of a bunch of shitheads there. But for the most part, I enjoyed both pretty equally. Ups and downs either way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at least on the civilian side, though, you were getting paid a little bit more to put up with the downs.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
My brother, who's the co-owner, he still lives in Houston. He works in the oil field. But we just I came up to him one day with this idea of the cigar lounge. And we've always, wanted to do something together. And this was the perfect opportunity, perfect timing with the locations and everything just worked out great. So we couldn't have been, more blessed to be where we're at now.
Sweet. So you said you started the cigar lounge in 2022, right?
Yeah, in October. Yeah.
So that was kind of like the tail end of COVID still, wasn't it?
Yeah. We got a pretty decent deal on the little shoebox that we had. Y'all visited.
How many square feet was that?
It was 320 square foot. I had 160 foot little retail side and then 160 foot lounge. And we did have a big patio in the back that was really nice that we built out. Kind of sour that we had to leave it there when we moved, but we put a lot of labor into that place.
That looked really good.
Yeah.
And how long were you guys at that location for?
We were there for about 9 months. There was some issues with some water leaking and this and that, and we were just able to get out of that lease. And this other one popped up, which was just insanely awesome timing.
Yeah, it's a good spot too.
Yeah.
It already had, you didn't have to build that patio.
Yeah, the patio was already massive there. So we didn't have to break our back anymore. We did some, some painting, a little bit of, some making it a little rustic to kind of go with our theme on the inside. So we now got our own bathrooms and everything. So it's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, because you guys didn't even have.
No,
it wasn't that far of a walk.
Yeah, it was right outside.
But I did because I never even thought because
yeah.
Shit.
No, it
was right around the corner, but
across the parking lot a little bit.
Yeah. It was still a pain in the ass, so it's way better.
I didn't even think of that. But yeah, so now your humidor is the same size or larger than your old entire shop, right?
Yeah, pretty close. We have an 11 by 11 room that we made out. We're getting close to building that out to a full walk-in humidor.
Nice.
Yeah. We're running 5 cabinets right now.
Okay.
So still pretty good selection, but when we build it out, we'll be able to have a lot more.
Are you going to get rid of the cabinets then and just have shelves?
Yeah, we'll do shelves. Yeah. We're actually we're pretty handy, so we're actually going to turn 2 of those cabinets into locker systems.
Oh yeah.
Nice. So we already have a locker system now, and we're getting close to maxing that out. So it'll be perfect timing for us to make those, and we'll be able to double the lockers. And
then you got a couple good vets that work in your shop as well. So we always have a good time when we go in there.
We have a joke that we don't hire anybody unless you have a master's degree or higher.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. One of our guys used
it's
to work
true.
for
It's true.
Yeah.
We have one ex-NASA guy. There are 2 of them are ex-Air Force. One guy is a college professor, and then our other guy is an IT genius. So it's literally they do it just to wind down and just have a day off. Is really when they work there is their day off.
Well, and they're good, personable people too. They're fun dudes.
Exactly.
They're surprisingly for people that have master's degrees, they're really easy to talk with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you didn't know that they're so well educated and so fucking smart that it'd be like talking to Scott or myself. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, talking to an idiot, like you just don't know for sure. So
yeah. Because nobody's ever questioned me once and been like, hey, do you have a master's degree? You know what I mean? Not one time in my life. Everyone's like, did you graduate high school?
Did you? I don't even know. Did you go to any college?
I went to, I did about a semester, just shy of it. I didn't even finish the whole semester. Right. But so after I got out of the Army, I kind of got a wild hair up my ass. And I was like, you know what? I want to be a legal drug dealer. So I was going to go to school to be an RN anesthetist because you don't have to be a doctor.
Right.
And you don't have to have your own malpractice insurance and all that shit. You fall under somebody else and you get paid like between $200,000 and $400,000 a year. And you literally just get people fucked up. Good night. You know what I mean? I'm like, this would be fun.
And then you saw your first textbook and you're like,
no, I started going, taking all my, the basics and the entry level,
the
medical shit.
Yeah.
And coming that close, that soon of being out of the military and how we did things.
Yeah.
And seeing like the, ooh, be careful with the butterflies, and I was just like, oh, people are dying here, like fucking move with a purpose, And they're just like, well, we have to fill out this form first. And I'm like, the guy's leg's falling off, And I'm just like, you know what? This isn't for me. But yeah, I got through about it was like a week left of the first semester. And I was just like, you know what? Like if I start, then I have to pay. Yeah. You know what I mean? Right. So I'm just, no, this isn't for me.
How about you? You get any college?
Yeah, so when I came back from overseas doing my private security gig, I got my degree in IT, cybersecurity, which then quickly found out that I can't work in an office or work for anybody else.
Right. So that served you well.
Yeah. So I started my own business doing audio, video, and security installs, and I still have that business going. That's really my day job. That keeps me pretty busy with the residential and commercial side.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. I think I got my machine tool certificate, and then I started down the entrepreneurship and business and marketing. And once I cherry picked the classes I wanted, and I got exactly what I wanted from them, or if I found out like marketing, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I was excited for marketing. I'm like, this will be fun, right?
Yeah.
And It's like corporate style marketing. I'm like, oh, this is not how I'm going to do any of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Have you used anything that you learned?
I learned a lot about what not to do, I think.
Okay.
And I learned I learned that I will never hire somebody for marketing who went to school for marketing.
Yeah.
That's what I learned.
Yep.
Because
it's antiquated. Like by the time you print a textbook,
Right.
whatever you're teaching
And
is out of date.
and it's taught by somebody who's never marketed.
Welcome to academia.
Yeah, I know, right?
Everything is taught by somebody who's
literally
never actually done what they're teaching.
Literally, I will never hire anybody who's gone to school for marketing for a marketing job at Warfighter Tobacco.
Yeah.
If I was corporate, maybe, because then it might be a little bit more.
Essentially, you're hiring somebody that committed to 4 years, and now you have to teach them how to do their job.
Yeah, but what marketing classes taught me was how to market to everybody.
Okay.
It was like, you can't say this kind of stuff because you got to be all inclusive, and you gotta market to,
Yeah.
I'm like, no, that is the opposite of what I'm going to do. Like, I'm going to market to a very specific set of people. And if you don't like how I market, then you're not my customer.
Right.
Right. Like that's and so, yeah, that's what I learned with that. But yeah, once I got what I kind of wanted, I did a little bit of accounting. I did a little bit of, like technical writing was pretty good.
Yeah.
I didn't think I'd learn anything with that. And it was actually a good class. And then the machine tool stuff, I used it initially, but now I don't use any of it.
Well, you're just not in the industry.
Yeah.
Oh, like I went to fucking MMI,
Yeah.
so I got factory certified Harley and Honda mechanic.
Right.
And I mean, the knowledge is kind of still there. It's been fucking years since I wrenched on anything. But none of my certs are because I haven't,
Yeah.
once you're not working in a dealership for a year.
And they didn't you probably learned, but what you learned isn't really applicable as just somebody who owns a Harley necessarily, right? Because you probably learned how to use the manual and use the tools and how to do all the stuff like
one of the coolest parts about that I got the most out of. Everything else is very specific, like model specific. Mm-hmm. This model in these years, this is how you do that.
Yeah.
But when they did like their theory, and they just went over like combustion engines, transmissions, electrical systems, and they're just like, this is how it works. Harley does it a little different. They use these colors. Honda uses these colors. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like in general, this is the theory on how all this happens. That was gold.
Yeah.
Like that to me was way better than doing it was that, and then it was all the Screaming Eagle classes. So it was all the performance stuff, the dyno tuning, like all that kind of. I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And then
so
when you're like,
it wants is the upgrades.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh, engine building. This is going to be fun. By the fourth engine, you're just like, I can fucking do this with my eyes closed. Yeah. It's like, this is okay. Take all apart, pull it back together. But yeah, all the tuning stuff, learning how to flow heads and, how to like actually like blueprint an engine.
Right.
And you can literally math out before we even start it. And how much horsepower you're going to put out.
Right.
And that I was just like, this is, where can I work to do this?
So for the listeners, I went to my high school when I was a freshman. There was a graduating class of 32 or 33. Then I went to Mesa.
Mesa, Arizona.
Yeah,
you went from Nebraska to Mesa,
I went to
Arizona.
Red Mountain High School, and I think the senior class that year was like over 1,000. Yeah. And so I went to Mesa my junior or sophomore and junior year, and then I went back to Nebraska my senior year. But Red Mountain had an automotive class that was off the fucking chain. Yeah. Like we learned shit, and we did the Bob Durant racing school stuff, right? But it was like where the high school you would tear down they would purposely fuck up at the time it was like Mustangs. Yeah. And they would make like, I don't know, they'd have like 6 things wrong with it. And it was timed. And you had to diagnose it. Right?
That's so cool.
And so we were doing stuff like that. And then my senior year, I went back to Nebraska. And I'm learning about like engines, right? I am light years ahead of ahead of the teacher teaching this shit, right? Like we had computers and we were building a front engine rear drive Fiero, or no, the other way around, rear engine front drive. Like we were doing crazy shit in the high school class, and I remember the teacher had a trick question, and it was about a rotary engine.
Yeah.
He's like, what kind of engine uses a triangle piston?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I know this. And no, but it was funny because it went from like working on modern cool stuff. And then the engine we had in Nebraska to work on was like a 1940s, with like,
right.
It was so out of date.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Like I remember one of the first engine classes that I took when I was at MMI, it was like this little single cylinder, like 150cc 4-stroke. And they were like, okay, this week we're going to tear this down and put it back together. And like, I think each class was like an hour and 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
And I tore it down and put it back together. Everything was checked off because they have checklists, every spot, blah, blah, blah. By the end of the first class on the first day, I'm like, so what do I have to do for the rest of the week? He's like, well, you can do it again if you want. And I'm like, I don't really want to. Like, no. And then obviously it, progressed. And,
Yeah.
but like, and then when I was doing Honda, going over the electrical systems on a Goldwing, oh my God.
No, I've known you for a long time and you've never owned a Honda.
So I used to have Honda sport bikes.
Oh, you did?
I had a CBR 600R
okay.
and I had a 1000R. And then I went to V-twin sport bikes.
Yeah.
I just love that torque.
That's what I knew.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then and now I got Harleys now. Like the new Goldwings, like I would ride the shit out of one of those. I would. I just like the sound of a V-twin. But like having a 6-cylinder engine, like those things are so fucking fast.
Well, yeah, Honda had that Valkyrie for a while. That was
Yeah.
kind of cool in its time.
They're fast and they're cool and like creature comforts, like everything,
Yeah.
right? And so your electronic diagnostic manual is thicker than your actual,
Tech manual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like 2.5 times the thickness just because of all the electrical systems. There's miles and miles of wires on a Goldwing. It's insane.
Yeah, my father growing up, my stepdad growing up, he had a Goldwing. And he was always messing with it. So I can understand that.
But yeah, any cover you pull off on a Goldwing and there's just wires everywhere underneath it. You're like, what the fuck? Yeah. But like I learned how to work on jet skis and because Honda makes them, this was like the real early stages of side-by-sides.
Yeah.
And so like their OG models, which were fucking pieces of shit.
Yeah.
They really were. We had a crash course on those, but they're like, oh, we don't sell a lot, so you don't have to work on these, They still don't.
Yeah. Honda isn't really known for their side-by-side.
But a bunch of stuff on 4-wheelers. Like we used to have to dyno 4-wheelers.
Yeah.
And that was really cool.
Like the racing.
Yeah, all of them, racing, the 4-wheel drive ones. Yeah. But like the cool thing about it is like when you're tuning a bike, you're like, oh, I don't want to blow this thing up. If we didn't blow up those bikes, you're not fucking blowing something. Something has to be catastrophically wrong inside.
Right.
So, all those bikes did is they permanently were strapped in a dyno and the instructor would go in and fuck up the map on the bike or upload a map that was trash. And then you had to go remap it. And so it was just non-fucking stop, just doing dyno runs 24/7. I don't even know how long these bikes are on there. You know what I mean? It was like,
yeah,
like there were bikes that had changed rear tires out on just from running it on a dyno.
Wow.
It was nuts.
Well, that's like we have a Can-Am, right? A Defender.
Mm-hmm.
And the other day I was looking up like how to do a computer mod or like a flash get a little bit out of it,
Yeah.
right? Well, I found a company that does a turbo kit and it added like
120 horsepower. It went from
it added 120 to an 80 horsepower motor.
Yeah, it went from 80 to what did you say, 195?
Something like that. Yeah.
It was insane.
Like, holy cow.
I mean, it'd be cool, but how would you drive that?
I don't even know. Like,
Check the mail real fast.
yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm not saying that this thing's, a speedster, but you can get yourself in trouble with it as it is.
Yeah. I drive it a lot and there's nothing that I do with it that I'm like, I need to go faster.
Right.
Not top end speed.
It's like, you know what? I need another 115 horsepower on this.
I need to times 1.5 the power of this so I can actually get something done. Yeah.
Just look at haul around my hay bales.
Yeah. But anyway, we got a little off topic.
I know. Shit. Sorry. We just hijacked everything. So how long you been in the new place?
We've been in there. We signed at the end of December. So we did some, quick renos, and we opened at the end of February. So we're,
Cool.
Yeah, we've been in there for a little over 6 months, open about 4 or 5 months. And
You got a pretty steady customer base already, right?
yeah,
So
we have
good
a lot of
regulars.
regulars.
Yeah.
Even from the last place, they all came back pretty much.
It's like 3 miles away.
Yeah,
Right?
it's half a mile down the road.
Half a mile down.
Really? That's it?
Yeah.
I thought it was further. than
No,
that.
yeah, it's
no
literally-
shit. Okay.
Yeah, it's right down the street. So everybody found us pretty quickly. We kept everybody's, texts and emails, and we just let everybody know that we move right down the road. And pretty much everybody's come back, and the frontage on 46 is helps a lot too. So
Yeah, I feel like you guys get better frontage
definitely
in the new location versus the old
the
one.
last one we were kind of tucked in the corner, so it did kind of hurt us. And we are working on our liquor license, so that'll be a huge plus.
Nice.
Yeah, come and have a smoke, have a whiskey.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what everybody.
That's a good
wants.
business
Yeah.
model too.
Yeah.
It's a game changer in a cigar lounge.
Yeah. For the listeners, Texas has most of Texas. It's a bring your own bottle. Because a lot of the city ordinances are you can't serve booze and cigars
And smoking. Yeah. So
but you're outside of city limits,
Right,
A little bit,
we
so
are.
yeah. But for a while, they're only letting people that were grandfathered in. So essentially people that have been there forever. And there's only I think 4 shops. But now people have found the loopholes in order to force the cities to give them the permits that are there for them. They should be able to do this, but the city just decides.
There's no reason
Right.
that a cigar lounge should not be able to serve.
No, not at all. None whatsoever.
Not one. Yeah, I can see some of the ordinances are you can't serve food. Like you can't prepare and serve food and smoke.
Yep.
Right. Like I understand that a little bit more. Right. However, there's a handful of steak restaurants where you can smoke cigars in them in the United States. And I will make it a point to go to every one of them.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's awesome.
Like if I had a high-end steakhouse, I wouldn't sell cigars, but I'd have a private members only room that the public can access, and I can do whatever the fuck I want to do in there.
Oh.
And I would host cigar and steak nights and do pairings with dinners and the whole fucking oh yeah.
Yeah.
So if you have a steakhouse in Texas and you like to have a Warfighter event there, we can get Rustic and us together. We can make this happen.
We're down.
Yeah, I'd be totally game for that.
To touch on you guys real quick, you guys were our very first cigar in our shop. I had found you guys, I believe it was in Specs years ago when y'all first got in there and had some of your cigars, and I fell in love with them then. And whenever we had this idea for the cigar shop, you guys were our first call to get on our vendor list, and you guys helped us out tremendously on getting our inventory and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, we appreciate that, and that's awesome, right? Like
Helping vets is really huge for me personally, and like I said, everybody that works for us, we're all veterans, so it's something that I want to keep going.
Absolutely.
Do you guys have like a website or social media or anything you want to shout out?
Yeah, I don't know all the hashtags and whatnot, but if you just there's our website right there, rusticcigarhaus.com.
There you go.
Way to go,
If you go
fingers.
towards the bottom, it'll scroll to the all the links for the Facebook, Instagram.
For the
Rustic _cigar _house, but HAUS because we're in the German part of Texas.
and it's 17080 Highway 46, Spring Branch, Texas.
Yep.
So if you're a veteran in the San Antonio greater area, go check out Rustic.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
So
You can't miss it. We got a big ass metal sign up top, and it says cigars right next to it.
Yeah.
So.
Dave and I stopped in there. We went up, got lunch in that area, and so we stopped in there one day. And there was 2 guys sitting at the bar smoking cigars, and they're both diehard podcast listeners.
oh yeah.
So I was like, I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, we have one of our regulars. He's pretty much waiting at the door when we open up. Probably 2 or 3 days out of the week.
Yeah.
He loves coming in. He loves Warfighter. He talks about you guys all the time. He's got all your swag.
Yep.
Yeah, he had a rug case in the bar and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, we call that one that's his chair. So he's like the norm.
Right.
Yeah,
Norm. No
he
cheers.
sits right down. Yeah.
Well, you brought us a bottle, which you didn't have to do, but I'm glad you did.
I was raised pretty good. So, you come into someone's house, bring them for the first time, you bring them a gift.
Right. Garrison Brothers Small Batch, the 2023 edition. So it's very good.
Yeah.
I'm going to have another one.
Texas Cigar Company, Texas whiskey.
Right.
What's wrong with that?
I like this better than their, I don't know what they call it, their regular, just,
Yeah.
it's a little bitey. This one's
94 proof. And I like that 94 to 100.
Yeah.
You start getting that 125 and it's a little much.
Yeah, I've had some that are pretty hot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Burning your throat going down.
Yeah. But 125 with a couple ice cubes, I can manage.
Yeah.
I don't know the last time that I drank something that was under like 40 or 80 proof or 40%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I did this weekend because if I would have done my weekend.
no, I'm talking about
Whiskey wise.
booze wise.
Yeah.
Drinking beer, seltzers, or whatever, that doesn't count.
Yeah.
It's just trying to
It's
rehydrate.
just hydrating.
Yep.
Well, this is 80. This is 80.
Yeah. This is 90,
Yeah.
80. What are you? 106.
Yeah, so that
Buffy Trace is probably around 94.
This is 86.
No, this is 90. Buffalo Trace. Yeah. So
Usually, if it's
that's a blackened is 118.
oh,
yeah,
no
yeah,
wonder
that's
why.
their cash strength edition.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Usually, if it's under 40, it's like a cordial.
Yeah, like this is the agave bourbon. That's the coffee bourbon. So
Yeah, but it's still 40%. But when you get like 35%,
oh yeah.
you're looking at like your flavored like fillers, like watermelon pucker and like that crap, like Jameson orange.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's 35%.
Now, I drink the Jameson cans of booze.
Jim brings those in every time he comes in. And
Yeah. They're not bad.
Yeah.
And they have
Pretty
an
flavorful.
orange one. And it's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better than their orange whiskey.
Yeah. It
It's a
is.
seltzer, so they,
It's not a seltzer. I don't think they're seltzers.
Is it not?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it's just like whiskey lemonade, whiskey. Whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's not a seltzer. That's why I like them.
whiskey lemonade is actually amazing.
The Jameson lemonade's fine.
No, like if you
Yeah.
make your own
Oh, I know. Yeah.
in the summer,
Yeah.
it's like a good whiskey sour.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm thirsty now.
The only times in my life that I've ever drank a whiskey sour have been at weddings.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, is that what they were serving, or it was open bar, or what?
Well, it was kind of like, I think it's just the go-to Nebraska wedding.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's usually shitty Canadian whiskey.
It's Canadian mist with
It was yeah.
with sour mix.
Right. But it's good at a wedding. So I don't know. I've just never.
I remember. Oh man, that reminds me of drinking at a wedding. So when I first got down here to Texas, I got invited to go to a wedding, and it was like my first experience of a Texas wedding.
Yeah.
Which is very different than weddings in other states, because the dress was Texas casual, but because it's a wedding, everyone stepped it up a little bit. So it was jeans, boots, button downs, the nice hats, not the work hats,
Right.
But it was like kind of outside ish, and then the reception was inside. And it was like it looked like a big barn, wooden barn and everything. And they had a bar, but it wasn't like an open bar with a bunch of everything. They had like a margarita like mix, and then they had different wines and a couple random beers, and I think they had some other little concoction thing like a fruit punch or something. I can't remember what it was. But so the table that I was sitting at, collectively, we were all drinking the margaritas, and so I'm on my like 8th margarita, and I'm like, I don't know if they put any tequila in this. And everyone's like, oh, and there's people that were like fucked up. And I'm like, so I kept an eye on the bar, right? And so as it kept going down, I was waiting until it got done and to see what they were going to do. So they killed that. And I was like, at that point I walked over and I was like, hey, margarita. And like, hold on, we're out. We got to make more. I'm like, okay, cool. No problem. And I watched him just pour the margarita mix in, and the bottle of tequila sat right on the bar. And then they poured it for somebody else. And like, okay, you want one too? And I'm like, fuck no. And so then I start looking around at everybody, and I'm like, how are these people acting this drunk? I'm like, there is no booze in that fucking margarita mix. I'm like, what is going on right now?
Well, some of the pre-mixed margarita mixes.
Oh no, this is just sugar. I think everyone's on a sugar high.
Or they had a little flask in them. That's what
Yeah, something.
pretty good with doing that here.
So then I literally walked up. I was like, margarita, please. And they poured it. And I'm like, can you put some of that tequila in it? And then the bartender was like, oh. I was like, yeah, that's how you make a margarita. It was so bad. But yeah,
They were hoping nobody saw that.
I know, right?
Right.
Like, we're going to save so much money.
Save those for themselves.
Yeah. And in my second Texas wedding I went to, they had beer donkeys.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen those before,
Yeah.
but they have a donkey that they walk around, and they have little coolers that hang off the side, and they're filled with beer. And you just, as the donkey walks by, you just grab a beer. I'm
I have not seen that.
like, this is awesome.
So Jim and Julie have 2 miniature donkeys
Yeah,
that are definitely going to be trained for that art.
They're going to be whiskey donkeys, though.
Yeah. They're going to be hanging out in the pool. Like, I don't know. In your 6 years of military life, I'm sure, like, we like to tell war stories,
Mhm.
but we like the funny, ridiculous.
Not the
dumb
ones where it's like, oh, you know,
Yeah.
the Humvee blew up and a guy's legs went out the
Yeah.
window. You know,
Yeah.
not those.
We want a funny, like, I can't believe this happened.
So I got one. So pre-deployment, you know, you do all your training and stuff, and you do the mock, you know, in the field. So we had one captain. He was a little short guy. I think he was probably about 5 foot, nothing.
Yeah.
You know, very hyper, very crazy. And so he was super adamant about doing all these trainings. And we had everything set up. And you know, the old MREs, you have the little heat packs.
Yep. Yeah.
So, you know, I got a water bottle, threw a couple of those in there, threw it in the bushes. About 2 minutes later, it exploded. And he pretty much shit his pants, you know, saying, "Oh, they're shooting at us. Get to your stations." And everybody's running around. Mind you, this wasn't, you know, what we were supposed to be doing. So
Right.
it was kind of an impromptu, but our teams, you know, were on it, and everybody was just kind of laughing at him, watching him running around with his like a chicken with his head cut off.
Nice. We had an MRE bomb story. So one of our squad leaders,
He's E6.
E6, was building an MRE bomb. We were at a mountain site, and it was kind of some downtime.
This was just that Shoe Got Gordon Mount site?
No, yeah, we were at Campbell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we were right off Range Road. But he mixes it, right, and then he shakes it, and it goes off, and it blows his top apart.
All the buttons are
All
gone.
the buttons are gone.
Nice.
We love you, Sergeant Blocker. We love you.
And he lives just north of
Yeah,
Houston.
we need to get him on.
Yeah, I've been in Texas for 5 years. Clearly, he doesn't listen to this show.
Yeah.
That motherfucker. 5 years, bro.
The old MRE bombs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the best.
Have you ever heard of qualifying?
Qualifying. Have not.
Okay, must have been an infantry thing.
Man,
So we talked about this last episode, but one of the dumb shit we used to do
I
is
forgot to bring in that picture.
you would qualify, and it was based on time.
Mhm.
But it was you hanging upside down in full battle rattle on a tree.
You're like a koala wrapped around a tree.
but you're upside down.
Yeah.
K-pot.
K-pot, vest, everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I think like 5 minutes you were an expert.
Yeah.
Something-
I can't remember.
something like
It
that,
was
yeah.
insane.
Just as long as you can hang there.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Without
But that's how
passing out.
all the new guys had to qualify.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think nowadays they call that hazing.
Yeah. But, you know, it definitely got a little softer, you know, since we were in. So
Yeah.
You said you joined in 99, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually did whatever they called the delayed entry. I actually
I did that too. Yeah.
joined when I was a junior in high school. So I was a little shithead, so I kind of knew.
So did you
I
do
was smart enough to know that I probably wouldn't do anything with my life unless I kind of got
Yeah.
straightened out. So.
Yeah.
So did you do basic like this summer in between your junior senior?
No,
Or
I did it. So pretty much right after I graduated high school, I had that month off, and then I went right in August. Yeah.
Did they only do that with the Guard?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it was called Split Up.
And then we did the one station. So I went basic and AIT at Leonard Wood.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I joined they call it the DEP program, delayed entry program.
Yeah.
I was in the DEP program too.
Yeah.
And it was for, let's see, 7, 15, 22 days. Well, actually, I take it back. It's 21 days.
That was really delayed.
I joined the day after my 18th birthday, and my report date was July 25th is when I signed the paperwork, and August 15th was my report date. My mom was pissed.
It's funny. Like now, when my kids don't join immediately after they turn 18, I'm pissed.
Right?
Like, what are you waiting for?
Right.
It was funny because my mom was the opposite.
Yeah.
She's like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Because I don't want to fucking be here anymore. Like, get me out of here."
My mom didn't understand it either. She signed when I was 17, though, but it was for the National Guard, so she wasn't like.
Well, I told you that story. I brought the recruit into my house, and my mom fucking kicked the dude out. I thought she was going to murder him. Yeah. Like, hey, Mom, this is Sergeant so-and-so. He'd like to talk to you about some things, and maybe we can sign some paperwork. Get the fuck out of my house. I was like, ooh, okay.
Guess that's another year I got to wait.
So just trying to be ahead of the curve, Mom. Jeez.
Recruiters are people, too.
Yes.
Parents. They're lying assholes, pieces of shit people most of the time, but they're people, too. So
I've met a couple recruiters that were decent.
I have too.
But I was never a recruit. I was just a friend of theirs.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They might be shitty recruiters, but as a person, they weren't that bad outside of the uniform.
Well, if they're a good recruiter, they're probably a shitty person.
Yeah. Yeah, man. If you sign up and you do really good, you get a free Humvee. Yeah. Right. And if you pass all your schools, they give you a spare tire and a puppy. Like, I'll sign up right now. That'd be me as a recruiter.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, before we wrap this up, Justin, do we have any cigar questions? Any questions?
We did not have any come in from the last week.
All right. Nobody's listening anymore. They don't like us.
So that means that we've just been really good at spreading knowledge.
Yeah. They know everything now.
Then, yeah. Exactly. We've covered all the bases. Well, that's it, boys. We're shutting the podcast down. We got nothing else to talk about.
Let's talk about building the Harley engines more, I guess.
Right.
But if you are listening, you got questions, drop them wherever you're listening. We'll try to answer.
Yeah.
Did y'all happen to hear about the new, I guess not new, but the House of Representatives passed a bill automatically registering men aged 18 to 26 for selective service. Mm-hmm. So instead of going in and filling out your card and everything, you're automatically entered to selective service.
Well, that makes it easier.
So do you think they did that because, like, nobody's explaining the 18 to 24-year-olds that they have to do this?
Probably. Or there's probably trying to get some illegal migrants registered as migrants.
They're actually mandated to recruit. So I saw that article, and immediately I went, it's sss.gov. It's whatever, the selective service, whatever. Mm-hmm. That's their website. But it has all the information. So immediately I was like, oh, what? Because the title of the article that I read was Congress passes bill for 18 to 24-year-olds to be selected or to automatically be signed up for the draft. And I'm like, that's not how any of this works. Yeah. This would be all over mainstream news if this is a thing.
We haven't called it that in a while.
Right. Yeah. And so then I went on that website, and literally they have like the blocks that explain, if you're this, blah, 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 you know. And then there's one that's if you're, not a U.S. citizen, but are residing in the United States, you're still required. Right. And I was like, what? Yeah. If you're an immigrant man living in the United States, documented or undocumented, between the ages of 18 and 25, you're required to register with few exceptions. Yeah. I didn't look at the exceptions, but what are your exceptions? Well, you've been deported 3 times and you're a convicted murderer.
Go over to the citizen one.
Yes, I saw that too.
Oh, no.
Include registered women. Look at that.
In the event that the law is changed, they are prepared to do it. But
equal opportunity,
I don't know if I want to ask that question or not.
What's that? Ask it.
Okay.
Let's get weird.
So if you're trans,
You know
do
what
you have to
it is,
register?
Yes, because you're either male. Well, especially if they had women, then there's no escaping it.
But no, so if you're female and you transition to male,
Oh, I would say you're morally obligated to at that point. I think you can't claim to be a male.
but can you? I don't know how this works. I have questions.
I'm confused by all that too. So
There's lots of questions.
Like if you attempt to do that and they're like, I'm sorry, ma'am, sir, we can't because it says female.
Right.
So you know what I mean? Like I don't know.
So what do you guys think about illegal immigrants being able to join and or having to register? What's your thoughts on this?
Okay, so
Yeah,
who do you want to go first? Because I have
go in order.
Go for it.
okay.
For
So
podcast.
I am for it, but I am for it in a sense of okay. The reason that I say that I'm for it is when Scott and I were in, we had a guy in our platoon that gained his citizenship while we were
We know in
deployed.
our brigade, we know there was a
there's a
whole re-enlistment ceremony.
yeah.
For everybody getting their citizenship.
Yep.
That one.
It was awesome.
It was awesome, right? And I think
Yep.
what a great way to be able to earn your citizenship.
100%.
Right.
But we had Zambrano, and
Yeah.
he was amazing.
Yeah.
He really was.
And now he's a cop. He's been a cop for years.
Yeah.
And he's
In Southern California, which
Yeah,
is kind of
like-
interesting.
I mean, but he's like he deserved it.
100%. And he fucking put in the work.
Yeah, and he was fucking just as American as
And
anybody I've ever.
I remember the day when Sergeant G was like, "Hey, Zambrano, get over here," and then explained to him, you know what, like, I have all your paperwork, everything's been approved, and there was no thank you, there's no anything. It was just fucking streams of tears,
Yeah.
and before he could even say a word, and it was just there was such a surreal moment, and it was just like, yes, 100%,
Yeah.
all day, every day, fuck yeah.
Now, my caveat to this is I think you need to speak English. And you need to want to be there.
So
You can't be forced.
you know what's funny?
to
So
be there.
Yeah.
have you guys ever looked at the U.S. citizenship test that that immigrants have to take in order to get their citizenship?
Yeah, it should be a high school graduation.
I guarantee you that 70% of Americans wouldn't pass it.
Yeah.
Guarantee it.
I don't know if I'd pass it right now.
It's like there's some questions on there. You're like,
A lot of history questions.
fuck. Like, can I?
History and how government works and, well, how government's supposed to work.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but no, it should be a requirement for high school to graduation, I think.
Yeah.
Hopefully they have a good process to weed out the ones that, you know,
the process
won't really
takes
make it.
absolutely forever.
Yeah. But I think the biggest thing is they need to want to do
Right.
it.
Well,
You don't want
can't
someone
just-
watching your six that
Yeah.
doesn't want to be there.
Or somebody that doesn't understand what's going on because
So
of the language barrier.
you know how you hear that thing like, oh, you just got to marry a U.S. citizen, you're good to go.
Yeah.
That's not at all how it works.
Well,
So
as of today,
no.
they're trying to make it.
It makes it a little bit easier, but you still have the entire process, that test, all this kind of stuff.
As of today, Justin, look this up. If you're an illegal married to a U.S. citizen, Biden's trying to pass something where it just becomes automatic citizenship.
It's
now.
fucking bullshit.
Well,
Yeah, because when I was going with this is when I was living in Massachusetts, there's a huge Irish population that lives up there that are not legal U.S. citizens. And there's a lot of guys that have that mindset that I just got to marry this American girl and then I'm good to go.
right.
Well, I had a girl that I worked with that married an Irish dude, and he's amazing. And they've been together forever now. And I think he's been in the States almost 30 years now.
Yeah.
But it took him almost 10 years to actually get his citizenship.
Yeah.
To have everything finalized and approved on the whole nine. And like, she got absolutely fucking grilled about their marriage, and their relationship, and all the
Yeah.
you know, because they were like, no, that
Yeah.
you can't just marry a dude and then, you know, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
it was crazy. It was intense.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they're trying to, whatever.
So apparently, what I'm seeing is Biden is trying to give around 500,000 spouses who are illegal immigrants citizenship to their U.S. citizen spouses. That's from Quickly skimming this article
Yeah.
real quick.
It
But
was on the news today.
yeah, it is something that is happening today as of recording this.
How do I get more votes? You know what? If I make these people U.S. citizens, they'll probably vote for me.
Yeah. I know. It's crazy. Yeah.
I did find the answer to one of our questions here.
Oh. So this is a reversal.
Okay, so
question.
U.S. citizens or immigrants who are assigned male at birth and changed their gender to female are still required to register. So,
But keep reading.
Hold on.
Keep reading.
Individuals who are assigned female at birth and change their gender to male are not required to register. So, hold on. I get this. Oh.
Yeah.
So, according to the Selective service system, there are two genders. That's it. There are two.
As it should be.
There are male and female, and it doesn't matter if you change it.
Yeah. Justin, go down to the next question. What men are exempt from selective services?
Exemptions are if a man is placed in a hospital, nursing home, long-term care facility, or mental institution on or before its 18th birthday, had no breaks of institutionalization for 30 days or longer. That's a big word.
Wow.
And remain institutionalized until his 26th birthday. He is not required to. So if you are mentally defunct, you don't have to sign up.
You can't have a break in your mental
That's a
shit
long
for
time,
yeah.
For 30 days or longer.
Yeah. Otherwise, if you're good for 30 days, you're registering, bitch.
29 days.
Yeah.
30 days.
No,
can't do it.
after 30, they have to.
No. That means they're exempt.
Yeah.
So if they hit 30 days or longer, they can't sign up.
No, the other way around.
No?
And had no breaks
No
of
breaks,
institutionalization.
So from 18 to 26, they got to pretty much be in there.
Yeah. If there's a break of 30 days, they need to register.
Just going for a long weekend.
Yeah.
You're fine for most of the month, and then
Right.
it's like being in the National Guard.
So there's a thing on the website that says that even if you served, you're still required to sign up.
Yeah.
But if you don't do it, your DD 214 is proof that you didn't intentionally not sign up.
Right.
And it's, right here. Your DD 214 is evidence that your failure to register was not knowing and willful.
Yeah.
It's like, I already fucking served. Because I know, like, after I got out, I was still under 26 years old. And I didn't fucking sign up. Like, I signed up when I turned 18
Yeah.
because I had to. I was in a delayed entry, so I was just like, well, I'm supposed to do this. You know, I was a very nice kid. But after I got out, there's no signing up for anything.
No, once you only have to sign up once. You don't have
Oh,
to.
that's true.
Yeah, you only have to sign
Yeah.
up once. But I remember there was guys in the platoon who were active duty and getting notices that they didn't register for their selective service. You know, it's like, well, I'm in Iraq right now. Like, you know,
I would love to. Do you have an office over here?
Wi-Fi.
well,
Yeah.
thank you for coming and doing the podcast.
I appreciate your time, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully the listeners enjoyed another guest.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to get more guests on and continue this. So, but yeah, cigar shop owner, veteran. Like it's kind of perfect,
Right?
perfect mix.
If you're in the San Antonio area, Rustic Cigar.
yeah, Rustic Cigar Haus.
We recorded a video earlier, so automatically I just can't speak anymore.
John should never be an actor.
No. Or if I am, they have to be very patient. Because I'm good for like one line, and then it's all downhill after that. The bloopers would be great,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, as long as I don't have to read a script. If I could just speak, I'm okay with it. But if I have to say things in a certain order, I'm so screwed. Justin's just like, yeah.
Luckily, I'm a patient person.
Well, you're kind of paid to be.
That's true. That's true.
He's like, fuck it, I'm getting paid either way. Yeah. But yeah, so you're here in San Antonio, go check out Rustic Cigar Haus off of 46 north of San Antonio. Great spot to hang out. Hopefully when you get down here, they'll have their liquor license because that would be phenomenal.
If not, it's still BYOB. So
Yeah.
yeah. Perfect weather right now to sit inside the lounge and enjoy it. A couple months we'll have the back patio covered, so it'll be
Oh, nice.
perfect.
Awesome. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Yeah. We covered the social media. Rustic Cigar Haus. Rustic_cigar_house on Instagram. Pretty sure it's similar. Rustic Cigar Haus on Facebook. And then their website is rusticcigarhaus.com.
Yep.
Yeah, go give them a like and a follow because they got some really cool stuff coming up.
Quick backstory on the house. It not only was this area, German founded, but my brother, he's my half brother, and his family is from Germany originally. So
okay.
From his dad's side.
Nice.
Yeah. So it kind of fits 2 ways there.
Yeah.
Do they come over here in like the 40s, 50s?
I couldn't tell you, but growing up, we had, his grandparents that were pretty much my grandparents. I was raised there until I was 15. That's when I moved away. But they were here. I think they were the first generation here. So
Nice.
Yeah.
No, the only reason I asked is there was a huge influx of Germans that moved to this area right around or shortly after the World War II time frame. We're at the old shop, our neighbor across the street was this old German lady that has been there. Their house was there from like the 1800s. And as annoying as she was, every once in a while you could get a decent story out of her about back in the day, and it was really cool. Like I don't nerd out on a lot of history stuff, but
I love talking to people who lived the history.
Like that's why I asked.
Folks have
When it's
good
firsthand history, that's awesome. I was enjoying that.
Yeah. Yep. Another reason why I asked both my sides of my family immigrated to the country in the 1900s at some point. But on my dad's side, his father immigrated to this country around World War II, but he came from Holland.
Okay.
So he was on the other side of the war, and they were like, "Get me the fuck out." And so I have his diary from when he traveled and all that kind of stuff.
Awesome.
And he was young; he was a younger teenager at the time. But hearing all those kind of stories and whatnot, it's super cool.
Yeah.
And being in this area, like I'd love to meet some old man who was just like, now it's probably very rare that I'll meet somebody that immigrated here and is still alive, but.
Oh, I think that's very possible.
From the 40s?
Oh, no. I thought
That's what I mean.
Well, you didn't say that. You just said immigrated here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's.
I meet them daily.
But not from Germany.
Not from.
Those are a little different.
Yeah, a little different.
Yep. When I was in El Paso last weekend, I almost made a wrong turn.
Oh.
Yeah, and I had a firearm in my vehicle.
Uh-oh.
And luckily, I was reading the street signs, and it was like, no firearms on this exit. And I was like, oh, shit. And I was like, that's going to Mexico. Nope. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Well, cheers. Thanks for coming on.
up.
Cheers. I'm empty, but
well, we can do a little
Let's
topping
top
off.
a little bit.
Yeah. This doesn't make for good podcasting.
I know. Sorry.
Here we are.
weren't
All right,
prepared.
cheers.
Okay.
thank you.
And until next week, thank you guys. Check out warfightertobacco.com, rusticcigarhaus.com, and go give them a like and a follow on Instagram.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thanks, brother.
for your time.
See you guys next week.
See ya.